Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and today we're going to be going over the 2019 Toyota Camry. As always, we will do a quick walk around on the Camry, then we're going to take it out to see how it drives. A big shout out and thank you to Larry H. Miller Toyota here in Murray for providing us with the vehicle. If you're on the market for a new Toyota, definitely check these guys out. But as always, if you are stopping in for the first time, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed. Under the hood here of the Camry, we have two different engine options. There's a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder motor, and then you can get a 3.5 liter V6. This one has the V6. In terms of power outputs, you're going to be good for 203 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque on the 4-cylinder. On the V6, you're gonna have 301 horsepower and 267 pound-feet of torque. Those are both routed through an 8-speed automatic transmission. In terms of fuel economy, it's going to be good for 29 around town and then 41 on the highway. Finishing things up on the front of the Camry, as always in traditional Toyota fashion now, the little logo here is also the sensor for the adaptive cruise control. This particular one has the LED lighting group, so you've got some LED accent lights right there, and then the LED projector bulbs, and then there's these kind of like little design elements here at the bottom of the grille. I think it looks cool. Parking sensors are actually integrated into the front as well. And then this particular trim's kind of like all blacked out, so the exterior color is black, but then they also kind of black everything out. There is that little, you know, polished kind of chrome look at the bottom, but other than that, everything else is blacked out on this Camry. Around the side here, we have these 19-inch alloy wheels. It's a black machine finish on them. I love the design on these rims. They look absolutely fantastic. Now, hopefully I can start talking now during this review, but coming around to the back here, we have our lock and unlock function and then our release for the trunk. We can hold that down and that will open up the trunk, and it actually opens it up all the way. And we can actually step back here now to look at the cargo space back here. So give you this nice rubber floor mat here. And then if we actually pull this little latch here, we can see that you get that whole fix-a-flat kit set up and some jacks back there as well. But in terms of trunk space, this is definitely on the bigger side of things for a sedan. It's not like the biggest, but it is a pretty good amount of space back here. Shutting the trunk, just a regular closing function right there. And looking at the rear of the Camry, I definitely like this new design that they're going for. The taillights are kind of like the signature part of the rear end here, so the new LEDs. Looks like they kind of stole this from Lexus, just saying, but it looks really cool how it just comes down there on the light. And then we can see the exhaust tips. They've got this little quad exhaust set up to make it look a little sportier, and then a rear diffuser on the rear as well, which is very interesting to see in a Camry, but I love it and I think it looks cool. Now I am about to unveil the best part of this car to you guys, and that is the interior. I love red interiors actually, so we have this beautiful red leather, white contrasted stitching. You've got your regular window controls right here, and you can see the whole kind of door panel, and even the speaker finished in red. Cool touch. We can look at the rear seats back here. So full red leather, more of that white contrasted stitching. We've got some nice perforations in it, but especially with the black exterior that this has, the contrast is just phenomenal. We've got little vents back here. There is a little hump there for the drive line, but it's not horrible. I would reserve the middle seat for smaller passengers, or just use it for an armrest and some cup holders if you only have two people back there. Other than that, leg space in the rear of the Camry is actually pretty good. It's normal for the segment. Coming around front, we've got keyless entry, so one touch to lock it, and then you just have to put your hand on the back of the door handle and that will unlock it. The door handle actually itself kind of comes out weird. It's definitely an interesting design that they've gone for. This door panel here is going to be the exact same as the door panel in the rear, so we're going to get more of that beautiful red leather, white contrasted stitching. All of your window controls are going to be right here. You have your mirror adjustments there, and then again, speaker is all finished in red. Over here we can see the adjustments for the seats. Full power, you have your lumbar adjustments too. And then these front seats, this is probably like the icing on the cake for me. So I definitely like the design on the seats. They look a lot sportier. They've got the same nice perforations, kind of like a little suede pinstripe thing in the center right there as well. And then finally, before we pop in, you can see the pedal layout just down below. And then we've got a couple buttons here. So for your headlights, stability control, the camera system, that's for your trunk release. And then that is for the gas release. After I stepped in, step-in height's actually pretty good, and I'm gonna get the car turned on right away. So just put your foot on the brake and push the push start. That'll turn the Camry on and give me some air conditioning so I don't swelter in here. But we can see the gauges will do a sweep, Kind of gives you a little illumination right there. I'll show you the graphic that it pops up with, and then the regular screen will come through. Now on the interior here, we have a bunch of different controls here on the steering wheel. So first let's talk about the steering wheel though. So we've got the Toyota logo front and center, and then it's wrapped with leather. There's some stitching on the center part of the steering wheel. It's actually a really nice size as well, and it just feel-wise, I think it feels really good. But in terms of controls on the steering wheel, we have a bunch of different controls for the safety tech. So you do have adaptive cruise control. There is forward collision warning and rear cross traffic alert. There is also lane departure assistance that you can set. That's for your different modes for the radio controls and all that. This is for that center screen. We'll go over that momentarily. You have all your phone controls here too, and that's just the volume for the radio, and then your voice command button for the Bluetooth. There are paddles on the back of the steering wheel as well. So if you want to shift the gears yourself, you can. Then your traditional light stalks and windshield wiper stalks just behind that. So I'm having to angle this a little bit just because of how bad the glare is currently, but on the left-hand side, you can see that you've got your tachometer for the RPMs. Over on the right-hand side there, you can see that you got your speedo. And then in that center screen right here, it's a little configurable menu, just like they have on all the other new Toyotas here. And I'm just gonna scroll through the different menus here so you can kind of see the different bits of information that you can go through. So you can go through like all the safety tech that it has. For example, I did forget to mention it has blind spot monitoring as well, but you can see those are all the different things of safety tech that you can go through right there on the center screen, but it's pretty configurable. Now that we're on the topic of safety tech, let's actually start with the backup camera. So just put the car into reverse. The backup camera will pop up. You get some trajectory lines that'll turn as you turn the steering wheel. There are a couple different angles that you can go through though. So you see that you can go an angle right there, and then you can even go like kind of like a more zoomed in angle on the camera system as well. And then this button over here that I told you about earlier, so if we pop it back into park and press that button, that'll pop up with the camera system as well. So it gives you kind of like a cool little like 3D view on the car that you can go through. You can turn that on or off. And so there's a full like 360 camera system on the new Camry. Yeah, and here's another view on that camera system. So you just press that button. You can actually pause it at any time, but it literally gives you kind of like a little digital version on the car, which is cool. So it still says check surroundings, but it shows you exactly where you are. And then now that we have that finished up, let's talk about the touchscreen system right here. So you've got your analog controls on the sides of the touchscreen, analog like volume controls and all that. But you can see that basically super responsive touchscreen. This is where you're gonna do your like Bluetooth navigation, everything via this touchscreen. It's super easy to use, and just the response time on everything is basically instantaneous. It's one of the better infotainment systems in the industry. Now just down below we have our analog climate controls right here with your little fan speed buttons. It is a dual zone climate here in this XSE trim package. And then just below that, we can see we've got a couple charging stations here. There is a little 12 volt, and then you can see there's some extra storage just down below here as well. So down here, traditional cup holder setup. We do have some controls for heated seats, which I don't know why those ones were turned on, but we have our shifter over here. So it's just the shifter for that 8-speed automatic. You do have a dual shift mode on this as well. Got a traditional parking brake. You do have some drive modes, and those actually come up in the center screen. So if we look at the center screen over here, when I press like Eco, it gives you a little like green stripe, and then Sport gives you a red stripe, and Normal is just regular. But other than that, it doesn't do anything with the gauge setup or anything like that. And this will just change how quickly the transmission shifts and throttle response as well. Now here's our little center console, more of that beautiful red leather. You're gonna hear me say that a million times. Got some charging stations in there, and then it's a good amount of storage space. And then speaking of storage space, let's pop over to the glove box. You can see it's got a pretty normal glove box. It's a decent size for this size of car. And then above that, you got more of the leather stitching on the dash, and then you've got kind of like this trim just above it. Don't know if the camera's capturing that very well, but it's kind of like a neat design on it. Looking at the top right here, we have all of our controls for the sunroof. This is a full panoramic sunroof, and it's nice that they actually give you that option in a smaller sized car like that. A lot of cars don't even offer that option, so this will let a ton of light into the cabin. Only this front part actually opens on the sunroof, but the whole shade can open up back, so you can get like a full like glass roof experience. Now that we've gone over all of the features on the 2019 Camry, let's take it out to see how it drives. Reverse out of here now with the 2019 Camry, and I really need to say this just first and foremost. I am super impressed with this Camry, actually. The Toyota Camry's never had, like, you know, a super good name. It's all it's been known for is like reliability, but like it's a boring car and all that. And I mean, especially with this red interior, this is anything but boring so far. Initially setting off, that 8-speed automatic transmission that they have added to this Camry is just fantastic. Like, it is shifting through the gears so quickly, and I mean, it's just crazy how smooth that transmission is. I did forget to mention in like the walk around part, there is a little heads up display. It's pretty standard, so it just shows you your speed and then the speed limit as well. But I mean, other than that, there's nothing too crazy on that aspect of things. But speaking of the heads up display and kind of like visibility throughout the car, visibility over the hood's really good. The hood's kind of sloped down low. Visibility over both of your shoulders is actually pretty good. Like I said earlier, the car does come with blind spot monitoring, so it'll help out with both those sides. And visibility through the rear is actually pretty good. The roof's sloped down a little bit, so it's not the best, but it's pretty normal for a car. Turning here, steering is super, super light and effortless on that. And other than that, though, I mean, it's just a comfortable steering rack. It's electrically assisted, and it's nothing crazy. It's pretty normal. In terms of ride quality and road noise, there is like no, I mean, there's a little bit of road noise, but this is definitely on the higher end in terms of cabin insulation, and then it's super, super smooth, especially for a car that's not like a big, long, full-size sedan. It definitely is a bigger size sedan, but it's nothing like the Avalon or anything like that. And so they've done a really good job in terms of making this feel kind of more like a luxury-based car. Now just playing with the paddles here a little bit, and they are super, super responsive. Actually, this, like I said, this transmission is really responsive, but not only that, but the paddles on this are, I mean, it's just, you click it and it changes gears like instantaneously pretty much. And while we're on that topic, let's get a little acceleration with this V6 Camry. Yeah, this is quick with the V6. I mean, it's more than enough power for the Camry. If you wanted to get a little bit better fuel economy, go for the 4-cylinder motor. But if you want a little bit extra sound from this V6 and definitely a good amount of pep, then I would go for the V6 route. This is a fun motor, and with this transmission, it's I mean, it's not quite a sports car, but it's definitely, it's sportier to drive. Now to wrap things up, overall, where the Camry kind of stands, it's in a segment that obviously has lost popularity over the last few years. Everyone's buying SUVs and trucks instead of cars. But if you are still in the market for a car, I would not look past the new Camry. Actually, with this new power output that they have on the V6, it's definitely a good amount of power. The interior on this is super, super nice, and you've got to get these red leather seats. I'm obsessed with them. But with the nicer interior, Toyota's track record with really good reliability, the good fuel economy that this car actually gets, the nice amount of space, all the safety tech that it comes with, this is definitely a very, very solid offering. And so if you are on the market for a kind of little bit bigger size sedan, you have to check out one of the Camrys before you purchase something. And there we have it, everyone, the 2019 Toyota Camry. Thank you everyone so much for watching. If you are stopping in for the first time, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe, comment down below what you thought, and then again, a big shout out and thank you to Toyota here in Murray for providing us with the vehicle. If you're on the market for a new Toyota, definitely check these guys out, but I will see all of you in that next video. Oh, there's a Bentley Bentayga.